You are now watching Showsnap, your daily showbiz update. Lea Salonga nagbahagi ng kanyang thoughts hinggil sa pagkapanalo ng US President na si Joe Biden. Narito po ang naging pahayag ni Ms. Lea sa kanyang nga pong social media account. It's been quite a whirlwind these past few days. It's always an emotional roller coaster watching the US presidential elections. So much drama, so much suspense, and I don't know that any election day before this one has had so much of either of those things. But wow, Joseph Biden is now the president-elect and Kamala Harris, Father's woman of color, is the vice president-elect. What a day! 4 years ago, where was I 4 years ago? Fan Home was having a tech run and everyone was banned from turning on their phones for its duration until after curtain call. We all got the news at the same time, and that unfamiliar sense of dread and fear went through me. I'm a woman of color that spends plenty of time in the United States. My daughter is growing up to be a woman of color, an actual Asian American. And the both of us could, in our own unique ways, feel that something wasn't quite right with the force. Before heading to the US to embark on my 2017 US tour, I asked my manager if I would be safe. I've never had to ask that question ever. It was the first time I actually felt apprehension walking in the street of one of the biggest melting pots in the world, New York City. I felt I had to constantly look over my shoulder to make sure I was far enough away from people so as not to get attacked. Every time I went on stage during my US and Canadian tours, Nicole would always ask the question, "Are you going to be okay? No one's going to hurt you while you're on stage." I had to reassure her that I would be safe. She was doubly worried when on tour in 2019, I went out on stage with crutches, hobbling until I reached my spot, sat down, got settled, and sang. I never felt that before, that sort of anxiety. The act of singing was helpful in getting rid of that. Thankfully, I wasn't ever traveling alone. No one should ever have to feel this kind of fear in democracy. Please repeat that sentence as often as necessary. Today, it feels like I can go back to the USA. Well, not while we're still in the midst of a pandemic, but you know what I mean. And not have to feel like I'm being watched by nefarious forces wanting to do me harm. Today, I feel something familiar and far more welcome, hope. At ilang mga netizen naman ang nag-react sa sinabing ito ni Lea Salonga. From Fashion Police article, narito po ang sinabi ni Pagpapalala. Seriously, I'm a woman of color too. This is what the media inflicts in us, fear, and then celebrities that have immense influence on people repeats the same kind of false narrative. It just doesn't help our current situation. I celebrated when Trump won. Jobs were at record-breaking high and unemployment was its lowest too. I went to New York and live in California. I have dark skin and I see people of different colors and we are all fine. Seriously, cut the crap already. Stop fear-mongering. I've just lost my respect for Lea Salonga. If I had the power, I'd stop all the media from feeding us all bad news. I'm not saying all has been perfect. No, and it will never be. But the media has polarized our views, made us feel depressed and hopeless, sad state. And girl, if you live in the US, then surely you have experienced discrimination and have seen it with your own eyes. Huwag mong sabihin na fake news yan because it really happens lalo na sa workplace. I don't know about you pero langaw ang tingin sa akin ng mga puti. Even the Latinos nga experiences discrimination. It's real and huwag nang i-deny. Trump is racist. He is racist and a proud one at that. Pero in fairness naman din sa kanya, marami siyang nagawa and sang-ayon din ako sa ibang decisions niya pero let's not say na his racism didn't have an effect. Naglakas loob ang mga white supremacists to be more vocal kasi the president himself was a proud racist. And sabi ng ilan, I agree with you. Ito ang comment na dapat hina-highlight. So many black people are angered with what the mainstream media is spreading. And then the people naman are believing, Highs, it's time to wake up. Exactly, mas maangas pa ang mga Pinoy dito kaysa Amerikano. Mas mahihain pa nga ang mga Americans. Baka akala nila kung ano na nangyayari sa mga Pilipino dito. Isolated cases lang po mga yon. Drama. Very true. Yan nga po ang pag-correct ng ilang mga netizen sa sinabi nga pong ito ni Lea Salonga. Well, ano po ang masasabi niyo sa ating article na ito? Ilagay ang inyong opinion sa ating comment section dahil yan po ay mahalaga sa amin. And of course, images are all credit to the respectful owners. Thank you for watching. Showbiz na!